It's early in the season, but how have things been going so far this spring and summer?
Spring's been great. I think we learned a lot about ourselves, and that's kind of what we're looking for in those 18 practices we get during April and May. And so just trying to fine-tune the things we came out of the season before that we wanted to improve on and kind of see what we can do as a team just on offense and defense and just kind of what fits this group. And this group's a little bit different. And so we learned a lot about ourselves that spring and found some good things that were real positive. And so we built on those this summer and just focused on our conditioning and strength. And a couple of things, that we learned in spring that we do want to fine-tune throughout the summer. We take a little bit of time that we're allotted and work on those small things.
Is there anything specific you guys have learned about yourselves?
No, I think we've got a chance to be really explosive again on offense. We've got some really good guys to get the ball to. I feel like Cam Reitner had a great spring, really moving over from receiver and corner to quarterback and just doing a good job distributing. He's a lot more athletic than what we've had the last couple of years as far as just being a mobile quarterback. It's hard losing a 3-year starter that we had, and David J. Potter and Cam, I think, gives us a little more flexibility within the run game. We'll continue to work on our passing game, but felt like we can be really dynamic with him as an athlete at quarterback.
You lost David J., someone that was in that position for such a long time, could be trusted. How does that approach change with Cam?
The plan all along has been for Cam to be the quarterback this year. He was our quarterback as a 9th grader, our backup quarterback the last couple of years as a sophomore. He had to play 2 games for us that we were able to win, and he did a great job on those games. And so stepping in as a leader this year, everybody's known he's going to be the quarterback, and we're prepared for that, and we're really excited about it. He had a great spring.
Cam was one of the top wide receivers last year. How are you looking to fill that void?
Yes, Shavonte Montgomery's back right there, him and Xavier Powell. So, and then you've got Tre'Davious Ball as well. So those are kind of the 3 receivers right now, and then we'll rotate in Braylon Pearson, who got a lot of snaps, and Chase Dixon's an up-and-coming sophomore, and then Sanders Wiggins is our tight end. Will replace Knox Pilgreen, and Ahmad Moore will step in at the running back to replace Javari. So we feel good about those spots. That's a lot of snaps that have been taken by a lot of kids that have started since they were sophomores right there.
Javari Johnson and Tre'Davious Ball were the 1-2 punch last season. Are you expecting more from T-Ball this season?
We are. I think his role will change a little bit. I think he'll get more carries this year. But Ahmad Moore had a tremendous, he was our 3rd running back last year. He had 800 yards as the 3rd running back, and so he'll step in this year as kind of that role Javari was in. And Ahmad had a tremendous track season, just a real explosive kid with a lot of burst, kind of like Javari, where he can make that big play when we need to. And so I think we'll look a little different at times on offense, but I think the explosiveness that we have is still there with some of the speed and the athleticism we have.
We talked about the O-line quite a bit last season. Damian Chisholm's now a senior, Quay Ford now a junior. What are you expecting from that group?
You've got 3 guys there that have taken a ton of snaps. Garrett Johnson will slide over from right tackle to center. You got Quay, obviously, who started now. This will be his 3rd year to start. You've got Damian Chisholm. This will be his 3rd year to start. And so, and then we have Gerard Stewart, who will step in at our right guard. And then we've got a young up-and-coming Dalen Davis who will step in at right tackle, big 6'4", 260-pound kid that we feel good about. I think there's still some things we're going to have to work out there. Once, I think obviously the long view scrimmage always tells us a lot. It shows us some chinks in the armor that we've got to really shore up on to fire for those first 4 games to get ready for district play. And so, but our offensive line is where we're going to hang our hat.
Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, what are you expecting from those guys?
We've got some strong leadership there. Same thing where some guys have been 3-year starters for a long time. Shaylin Cooper at linebacker. Obviously Duncan McGee going to TCU at defensive tackle. I would say Duncan has been one of the guys on our team who's grown the most as far as leadership skills go. He's got a voice. He's the leader of that defense right now. Everybody looks to him, but you've got Roman White at corner, who's been a 3-year starter there, and Marcus Hall at safety, who's been a 3-year starter there. Caden Kreiner will step in, who's been on varsity for 3 years at linebacker. And so just a lot of guys with a lot of snaps. And then we've got to have some guys step up and help. And it's the same thing. We're going to hang our hat on being able to stop the run and having a really strong defensive line. This should be the biggest defensive line that we've had in a long, long time. And we feel good about some of the depth there, but at the same time, there's some young guys that have really got to step up and help out.
What are you most looking forward to this season?
Just seeing this team grow up. I don't know that we exactly know who we are yet, particularly when you change at quarterback. There's just things that you're not sure about yet. Defensively, we've got to become a physical football team and get back to who we are, of being able to stop the run and play physical football that we're used to here.
I know there have been a few staff changes. What's new this year?
Yeah, Coach Toon, our offensive coordinator, left and moved down to Houston with his family. Just a family move right there. Lane Elliott will slide up and move over to our offensive coordinator role. We were able to hire Valence Hunt, who played here for us, finished playing at Arkansas State at receiver, and Wyatt Santos is coming over to us from Maine, Texas. And then not a lot of changes on the defensive side of the ball. Really, we stayed for the most part pretty stable. We were able to bring Tyron Evans back, who was with us for a couple years. He went down to Bastrop. He'll come over and help Coach Hawkins with the defensive line.
What do those guys bring to the table?
Most of those guys have been here. They kind of know, Valence playing here, Coach Evans being here before. They understand what the expectation is here, and so we brought a little bit of youth back with some energy and some things that I think will be really good for our staff.
This early in the season, what's the most important thing right now?
Right now, just in the middle of summer, I think it's just getting healthy, staying healthy, preparing our bodies to be healthy and play for a long time. I think the things we look back up on last year that we were concerned about was being able to have enough depth to be in that third and fourth round when it's going to come to a size and a physicality type of situation. And so we're really trying to focus in on that depth and developing it at some of these young guys that we really need to step up, particularly in our sophomore 2B class. We've got some guys we're counting on to come through here. And so trying to get some more weight on them and some strength on them so that the longevity of a season doesn't take too much of a toll.
Are you expecting to be the biggest challenge for the Tigers this season?
I think it's the depth. We don't have a ton of just natural talented depth behind, but we've got some guys who are really working to become those guys. And so that's really been the focus all spring and all summer is developing that. And so that's kind of why we've had that concern, is to develop it. And so hopefully we've got some guys stepping up and they're having a great summer right now, and we can stay healthy.